Hello and welcome to episode 4 of deValiante Plays As We Know It by Jaime Scribbles Games. This visual novel was part of Ichio's bundle for racial justice and equality. This visual novel contains strong language and mature themes that may not be suitable for all audiences. Discretion is advised. Now, without further ado, let's get started. The morning went by slowly. I got dressed, ate, and then just sat around for a while. My mind was reeling from everything that had happened in the past few days. Today was my last day before I started working at my new job, and considered one of my mom's romance novels for a moment, but then the crackle of the intercom made me jump. Good afternoon, everyone. We are now hosting several games in the community center. Board games, card games, you name it. Non-essential personnel are free to participate, as are all residents who are not otherwise preoccupied. With a jarring snap, the speaker shut off, and I was left with a choice. Read Checkers of Daggers, or check out what was going on in the community center. Let's go to the community center. There was bound to be something interesting to do. Anything was better than just sitting in the small room all day. I was starting to look forward to my new job. At least it would be something to do. The hallways weren't too busy. Maybe a lot of people had decided to stay in their rooms, or maybe they were at the community center. When I walked into the community center, I didn't see too many people. I had thought it would be packed, but it wasn't. The few people who were here were standing in small groups. There were a dozen or so tables set out with things to pass the time. Snacks had been provided where they typically offered coffee. Mom was sitting at a small table playing some type of card game. I knew she would be here. There were a few people in the corner shouting and laughing. They appeared to be arm wrestling. Another table had some odd-looking board games I'd never seen before. Then there was charades. I could see a small cluster of people miming and laughing about something. I felt more interested in checking out the noisier areas, so I could just quietly listen. They probably wouldn't notice if I wanted to sneak away either. That's a good question. Okay. 1 and 2 is arm wrestle. 3 and 4 is charades. 2, let's go wrestle some arms. I headed towards a group of people, hooting and surrounding 2 people locked in arms. A heavy hand rested on my shoulder, and I turned to see who the hell was touching me. It was Vince with a big goofy grin, and Tabitha was standing beside him. Come to arm wrestle? Think you can take me on? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. No, but I'll try. No, but I see no harm in giving it a go. Don't break it, alright? No need to worry about that. Vince sat down at a table and held his arm out. Tabby covered her face and groaned. Dad, it's my turn. But Tabby, I'm not sure Diva can handle you yet. Whatever, Dad. Let me try first, then you can give it a go. I shrugged. Sure, why not? I could see where this was going. Vince shared a look with me, and I gave a slight nod. I sat down and held my arm out. We clasped hands. Vince put up a good show of a struggle, so I played along. After a few moments, he gave, and I slammed his hand down on the table. No way. Tabby Cat, you have to defend our family's honor. She beat you? I like the little detail of, like, the bleach spots. It's very reminiscent of, like, learning how to do laundry. Yeah, can you believe it? Well, it's my turn. I grinned and held my hand out to her. She sat across from me and eyed me suspiciously. You're not a cheat, are you? Cheat? No, of course not. Tabby took my hand and pressed against it with all her might. She was actually pretty strong, so I made a show of fighting her off as hard as I could. After a few moments, I let her slam my hand against the table, and then pulled it back to shake it. You are not kidding. Your daughter is way stronger than you. Told you. I know. It's because she grew up on fresh fruits and vegetables. Oh, you were born here? Tabitha nodded. Someone yelled out Vince's name, and they were both pulled away. After some time had passed, I decided to call it a night. I had to work in the morning. It was an odd feeling. Mom had returned late and happily updated me on all the gossip she had heard today. I listened to her go on and on until I finally fell asleep. I should get a thing for Tabby, right? Because I let her win. Who is Sam? I got up and headed out to grab a coffee before work. I walked in as everyone gathered around Vince. Someone pushed a uniform into my hand and then urged me onwards. All right, children, if you're new, pay attention. I don't like to repeat myself. Assignments are on the board by your name. If it doesn't make sense, ask someone. You must carry one of these around at all times. He held up a small black box. It almost looked like some kind of radio. If they go off, come back here immediately. It means that there is an emergency. Oof. So, whatever they were would go off in case of emergency? Okay. If you're not fit, then you need to get fit. We don't have easy sit-around jobs in the security force. You need to be able to run, fight, and lift. If you see you aren't making an effort, then you're out. You'll have to try to find another position in an easier department or be exiled. The choice is yours. I clutched my new uniform against my chest. Even though I felt like I was in pretty good shape, it made me nervous for him to take it so seriously. I think of us like a family. If you have any problems, you can come to me. I encourage you all to get to know each other, take care of each other, remember who will have your back if things go badly. He fell quiet and glanced around the room. I looked around. Were we supposed to say something? Now get to work. As soon as he finished speaking, he was immediately pulled aside by someone. I looked down at the clothing in my arms and followed the others to change. When I returned, Eva stood with some of the other officers. They began to walk us through the job board and what the various assignments meant. Okay, so I don't know if this means that, like, Eva's obviously in higher rank because she's been at this job longer. Her outfit is also more form-fitting, where this one looks much smaller. But this area on both of them makes no sense at all. Like, I don't... Because, you know what, like, if you take this top part off... No. Actually, no, I kind of like that detail. But this looks like she's just wearing a bra over a tank top and then wearing this weird bolero situation on top of the bra and the tank top. And then this is just the bralero with like a tank top, but like a looser fitting tank top. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out like what the point of this is. It's like these Like, even the collars are different. Like, the stripes are the same, but the collars are different. And the way, like, that, like, because this is buttons, this is a zipper, this is a bralero, and this is a bolero with a bra. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna stop fixating on this. Diva, you'll have to do paperwork today. So lame. Paperwork? Yeah, you have to file the reports. It's really boring. I guess I'm glad I don't have to do all of it. She smirked at me, but then someone called her away. Someone else pointed me towards a desk piled with paper and folders, so I got started. The work was pretty intuitive, which was a relief. The room was a bit rowdy, but overall friendly. Work was over and I had some time to kill. What is Icarus? Alright, let's just go to Icarus and figure this out, because I don't what is this? I walked into the area that had been labeled as Icarus. There were a few familiar and unfamiliar faces spread out throughout the room. I like how it's like carved out of the cave. Like there's parts of it that are like very, like, you're underground. Is this Sam? Did we finally meet Sam? A woman stood behind the bar, handing out booze for beads. She eyed me suspiciously for a moment, but then went back to work. There were dartboards, pool tables, card tables, and even a jukebox. Music played, but I didn't recognize it. It almost seemed more like a rattling in the background. The woman approached me. Her scrutiny was starting to make me nervous. Beads for booze? What you want? Oh, are you the bartender? Yep, but I used to own a place similar. I like to think this little place is mine. If this little place is mine. The mayor doesn't mind? She shrugged. Call me Sam. Tell me what you want. Order your usual. Ask for Sam's recommendation, because I don't drink a lot, so I don't know what things are called. Sam shrugged and looked over the various bottles lined up behind her. I'll make you my specialty then. Nothing's better. She handed me something that looked elaborate but tasty, and then she walked away. I spent some time quietly watching people go in and out of the place before getting bored and going back to my home. It was getting late and I was tired. Time for bed. Alright, so oh, hey, my standing's gone up and my stress has gone down, I think. Maybe? No, my stress has stayed the same. That's fine. We're going through the days pretty quickly. I got up and headed out to grab coffee before work. I looked at the board and saw that I was assigned to work the front, meaning I got to sit by the entrance and stare at the walls. Did you get assigned paperwork again? No, I'm at the entrance today. That's not so bad. I don't know, like, I like doing absolutely nothing, so, let's see, 1 and 2 is I'll be bored, 3 and 4 is it's better than paperwork, 2, I'll be bored. Bored? Yeah, it's dull up there. She glanced back at the board, then at me. Okay, 1 second. She walked away and spoke to someone, then came back. Good news, Diva. I got the other front to switch with me. No way you'll be bored if I'm up there with you. Is that okay? Sure. Now come on. It's quiet. Too quiet. I shrugged and glanced at the large, heavy door. I used to only know what the door looked like from the other side. It's been so long for me. She frowned, but then straightened up and seemed to shake it off. So, what did you do before you came here? Me? Yeah, besides survive or whatever. What else was there? She sighed and looked at me, clearly waiting. Okay, 1 and 2 is I like to scavenge, 3 and 4 is I read mostly, 5 and 6 is I was a terrifying warlord. So sarcastic. 1. I dug through the ruins to see what I could find. I had to leave most of it behind, though. That's too bad, but we've got everything you might want down here. We made some more small talk, and it made the shift pass much more enjoyably. Work was over, and I had some time to kill. Okay, so we went to Icarus last time, so let's do 1 and 2 is library, 3 and 4 is gym. 2. Nothing particularly interesting was going on in the library today. There were a few things I could do. Study fitness for work. Why not just go to the gym? Check out a book. See what Trevor was up. Let's go talk to Trevor and bug the crap out of him. Brian was here again. He was leaning heavily against the counter and smiling at Trevor. As far as I could tell, Brian was the only person who held any affection for the librarian. He spoke to me without even looking over. Hey, Diva. Hey, Brian. Go on, then. Trevor was sorting through some papers and appeared to be willingly ignoring Brian. He had no problem telling anyone off, so I assumed if Brian really bothered him, he would say something. I rolled my eyes at Trevor and retreated into the shelves. I made a show of heading towards the back of the library, but then I quietly looped around. Why was Brian always hanging out here? When I got close enough to overhear them, I stood as quietly as possible. It's getting late. I know, right? Hey, why? I'm actually really busy today, so you should just go home already. There was a heavy quiet between them. I'll stop by tomorrow, okay? You never borrow any books. Why do you even come here? I think you know why, but I suppose I could try to make it more obvious. I covered my eyes. I couldn't see them, but it seemed like things were becoming just a bit more intimate. I suppose I had my answer, though. I didn't understand why Brian was so smitten with Trevor, when Trevor seemed nothing but annoyed. I told you, just go. I'm busy. All right, if you really want me to. I do. I could hear Brian leaving, and I ducked back through the shelves so I could find a book. Trevor would melt me with his death glare if he saw that I had been eavesdropping. Something was going on between them, and whatever it was seemed complicated. I peeked out and saw Trevor looked extra evil, so I left without bothering to check out a book. It was getting late and I was tired. Time for bed. So I'm not getting any more hearts with anybody. I finally met Sam. But my stress also isn't going up. So I guess tomorrow we go to the gym. I got up and headed out to grab coffee before work. It was just another day on the security force. I filed old reports and cycled out the ones that were too old to be addressed in the future. Same old, same old. Work was over. I had some time to kill. Alright. And then we'll start rolling from now on. So. Hey, it's Micah. I walked in and saw Micah pacing around the walking track. He was walking fairly slowly and seemed deep in thought. Let's see what he's up to. I fell into step beside him and he noticed immediately. Diva, not going to get a great workout walking the track this slowly. Depends on how long you walk. You're right, of course. He picked up the pace and I continued to walk with him. I don't see you here often. I usually come at odd hours. Work keeps me busy. Makes sense. I used to work out all the time. Really? Micah sighed and smiled wistfully. Yeah, mostly weightlifting when I was much younger. So, that was a long time ago. Now I'm content to maintain a comfortable fitness regimen. It wasn't like Micah to cut me off like that. He seemed to want to drop the subject. I like looking into the greenhouse while I walk. Of course, that is probably why there are all these windows. The greenhouse is great. I have never seen so much, well, green. Micah nodded. Such things are almost extinct on the surface. Can you imagine hundreds of years ago there was foliage like that everywhere? Green as far as you could see. Hard to imagine, unfortunately. We fell into silence, but it didn't last long. As soon as we got to an exit, Micah said farewell and left. It was getting late and I was tired. Time for bed. I got up and headed out to grab coffee before work. I was sitting at the desk pretending to do paperwork when the door busted open and Vince and Eva came in. Excuse me. Between them, they were clutching a very, very drunk man. I stood up. I wasn't sure if they want me to help. Despite his angry, slurred words, he seemed pretty docile. They handed him off to be booked. Eva saw me watching and spoke up. The doc had to drug him. Don't just stand there, people. Get back to work. You've seen Mr. Clark before. Some shouted about him being home again, and there was laughter. I guess the guy was a bit of a troublemaker. I went back to my paperwork. The rest of the day was fairly quiet. Work was over and I had some time to kill. Okay. 1 and 2 is library, 3 and 4 is gym, Icarus is 5 and 6. I kind of want to see what goes on in Icarus, but I also kind of want to watch the Brian and Trevor show. So, let's see. Oh, 1. Yeah, Brian and Trevor show. Nothing particularly interesting was going on in the library today. There were a few things I could do. See what Trevor was up to, check out a book, study fit. Just go to the gym. I walked in and saw Brian making Trevor laugh. I stumbled at the sight, knocking into a table and disturbing a display. They both looked over at me and Trevor's mirth died immediately. What do you want? I gave the table a careful tap and tried to put the display back as it had been. I failed. Trevor, she's probably here to borrow a book. Whatever, get one and get out. I must have imagined seeing Trevor amused. The scowl on his face seemed much more natural. Don't be so unfriendly. That's why no one but me ever comes here. Brian's voice was dripping with flirtation, and Trevor blushed and crossed his arms. That's interesting. Okay, so 1 and 2, we leave Trevor alone, which would probably be my preference. 3 and 4 is we annoy Trevor. And of course we get 4. I was sick of Trevor's bad attitude. I made as much noise as I could as I moved through the shelves, dropping books, picking them up, scuffing my shoes against the floor, reading titles out loud. While I was unable to see him, I could feel Trevor's anger growing into a miasma. Eventually, Brian met me and began to escort me out in a way that appeared friendly and natural, and if I hadn't been trying to annoy Trevor on purpose, I might have fallen for it. As I walked out, I met Trevor's glare and smiled back at him. Maybe next time he wouldn't be such an ass. It was getting late and I was tired and it was time for bed. So I got like negative stars with Trevor? My standing's still pretty good. I still, like, I guess we just haven't gotten to the part where we're, like, supposed to build relationships with these people. So, where do we see Tabby on a regular basis? Because I doubt we see her at the gym. Or, like, and I also doubt we see her at the bar. I got up and headed out to grab a coffee before work. It was just another day on the security force. I worked in the armory, taking inventory and signing things out as needed. Same old, same old. I walked in, but Mom stopped me. Oh, hello. There you are. I've been waiting for you. All of the departments are having a party at the bar to celebrate the first week of work. Come on, get ready. What, really? I sort of remembered someone talking about it, but I hadn't paid attention. Yeah, come on, let's go. It'll be fun. I don't know. Is it mandatory? I just got home. And you were just about to go back out. Come on, Diva. Let's go celebrate. Hurry up and get changed. She took my hand and squeezed them. Okay. We got ready and headed out to the party. I would rather stay in my bed, but Mom really wanted to go. We gotta get you, like, better night clothes. Icarus was really busy. The music bounced off the walls, and there were people everywhere I looked. I felt a hand on my shoulder and looked to see Mom giving it a squeeze. She pointed off somewhere and then left. I assumed she saw someone she wanted to talk to. I was on my own now, and the warm, stagnant air was already starting to make me feel claustrophobic. A drink, or maybe I could find a quiet corner somewhere. I needed to do something other than standing here awkwardly. Just walk out. Let's see. So I would just walk out or find an empty booth, but let's see what the dice say. Dice say 3, follow Mom. Mom's gonna go find her boyfriend. I sighed and started to follow after Mom. I had only taken a few steps when some arms wrapped around me and pulled me aside. Hey! Oh, that's kind of cool. It's like a Shinyu. Diva! It is like kind of a bra, isn't it? Yeah. It's also earthbender colors. She laughed so hard she had to lean over to catch her breath. She must be drunk. Diva, hey, hey. She cleared her throat and stood up straight, looking at me with a big smile. I bit my lip to stop from laughing. Hi, Diva. Hi, Eva. Oh, She stared at me and seemed to forget what she was saying. Are you alright? Yeah. So you enjoying the party? I just got here. Yeah, you want a drink? I could buy you a drink. Oh? I'll be right back. She was gone. I watched her stumble through the crowd towards the bar. I smirked. Her bouncing nature was increased by the alcohol. I looked back to where I had seen Mom, but then considered Eva a moment. She was loudly ordering some drinks for us. Since Eva was buying me a drink, I figured I'd wait for her. It'll be nice to see her outside of work. Outside of those clothes, what? She returned carrying 2 cups, liquid sloshing over the rim as she moved. It's a waste. Thanks. I took the drink she handed to me and swallowed it down in one go. It was sweet, but definitely alcoholic. Whoa there. Eva handed me her drink, and I took that too. It was a good thing, really. Eva would thank me in the morning. I finished hers and gasped. It was way stronger than mine. Thanks. You really like this kind of thing, don't you? A motion around me at the party. Yeah, oh come on, you wanna dance? Oh, or maybe play around a pool? Do you know how to play pool? Or why don't we sit down somewhere? Eva nodded and took my hand. Her hand was warm, and I let her lead me to the table that was mostly empty. The other occupants were facing the opposite way and chatting with another group. She took the chair and moved it to be closer to me, then sat down. So, how are you liking work so far? It's great, right? I mean, not great, but yeah, it's alright. It's just a big change, but I'm getting used to it eventually. Shit, you want another drink, right? I'll get you another drink. Eva! I grabbed her hands before she could jump to her feet. I was already feeling the effects of the drinks earlier. Neither of us needed more. Her family? Tell me about your family. What are they like? Where are they? Her smile faded and she pulled her hands away, leaning back. My family? Her face fell and she shook her head. Sorry, Diva, I've gotta go. Eva, what's wrong? She stood up and turned away from me. I'm sorry. Don't worry about it. I've just had too much to drink. It makes me emotional. She rubbed her face, then forced a smile when she looked back at me. I'm getting pretty tired, though. I'm gonna head out. I'll see you around, okay? Yeah, of course. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. She patted me on the shoulder, then left. She headed to the exit. The night wore on, and it was time to go. People were leaving, the music was turned down. Sam looked ready to start physically kicking people out of the bar. Mom joined back up with me, and we walked home. It was getting late, and I was tired. Time for bed. I felt like hell. Mom had already left. She must have decided to let me sleep in. My head was pounding. I rolled out of bed and stumbled to the kitchen sink for some water. The chill felt nice on my forehead. It had been a long time since I'd felt this way. I glanced around the room and tried to find something to provide relief. I could just go to the clinic. Maybe they had something for the pain, or I could just go back to bed. Let's go to the clinic, see if they have aspirin. Now that I had easy access to a clinic and medicine, I should take advantage of it. It was still early enough that the hallways were deserted. It was quiet, which was nice considering my headache. I walked into the clinic and it was dark, and for a moment I thought it was empty. Then I heard someone clear their throat and approach. The clinic is not open yet. I saw him, but he wasn't looking at me, just at a stack of papers. Oh, sorry. Micah stopped and looked up. Diva, I did not realize it was you. I've got a pounding headache, so I was hoping you'd have something for it. Of course, come with me. He led me towards the medical supply closet and opened it. He pulled out a jar and handed me 2 pills. Fortunately for us, Camden has its own lab. Less to trade for, I assume. Oh, yeah, thank you. These will be great. Micah led me towards the exit, and we said our goodbyes. I was already starting to feel a lot better. There wasn't any work to do today, so maybe I could try to see someone. Okay. Let's see. We have not had any interaction with, like, Gloria at all, so let's go mess with Gloria. I was walking aimlessly through the halls when I felt a tap on my shoulder. Hey, you. Gloria, hi. We stood for a moment, neither of us saying anything. Then I realized I should probably say something. What are you doing? You're not still working, are you? Oh, no, of course not. I was heading to Icarus. It's been a really long day, so I wanted to get a drink. More awkward silence followed. I kind of wanted to invite myself, but she might not want me to come. Sounds fun. Ugh, that sounded so lame. Yeah, you should come. I'd love the company. Really? I said it before I could stop myself. I hope it didn't sound as pathetic as I thought it did. Yeah, come on. Tell me about your life on the surface and how it's been adjusting to Camden. Okay. I followed her as we walked towards the bar. Gloria, the usual? Yeah, what about you, Diva? I'll have a hard water. Right. We sat down at an empty table and Sam quickly delivered 2 drinks and then vanished. I'd ask if you came here often, but you only just moved down here. Yeah, it's nice though. Much cleaner than what I'm used to on the surface. Tell me all about it. That's right. You were born down here, weren't you? Yes. Now go on. What's it like up there? I don't even know where to start. I told her about the nasty weather, the dangerous sandmen, that cobbled together town, and the horrible heat that you couldn't get used to no matter what. Sounds incredible. Not the word I would use. Well, it's more exciting than this boring place. Nothing ever changes. A few new people move in every year or so, but that's it. That's a good thing, though. Gloria rolled her eyes. You sound like my parents. I get it. I'm so lucky to be trapped in this fancy cave. I mean, you are really lucky, so... If you'd ever been on the surface, you would understand. She looked away, but I caught her rolling her eyes as she did. I suppose you're right. She sighed and leaned her chin on her hands and looked at me curiously. I'm so glad to be here, though. I shrugged and finished off my drink. Gloria waved Sam over to order us another round. So, how are you liking your new job? Let's roll for it. Four, it's kind of dull. Everything down here is dull. Gloria continued to order me drinks until my mind felt fuzzy. I excused myself and staggered back home before I made some kind of fool of myself. It was getting late and I was tired. Time for bed. When I woke up, I saw that Mom was sitting at the table, happily sewing something. Since when do you sew? I know how to sew. I know that, but you hate to do it. Yet here you are, humming away. Oh, hush. What are you sewing anyway? I'm patching up an old scarf. An old scarf? Which one? It's the one of Rick's. He was thinking about donating it to the fabric stores, but I told him I could patch it up for him. Is that part of your job as his assistant? Oh, he told me not to bother, but I insisted. She was smiling, and I could tell she was now a lost cause. I sighed. There was no stopping it now. The intercom lit up, and the static-filled voice began an announcement. Camden Community Meeting, everyone. Please make your way to the community center as soon as possible. I looked at Mom, and she smiled. Are those going to be weekly thing? I believe so. Come on, we gotta get there early and make sure everything is ready for Rick. Oh. Let's leave now with Mom and see what's up. All right. Let me get my stuff together. I got ready quickly while Mom urged me on. Then we rushed to the community center. Mom was by the mayor, who had his freshly darned scarf draped around his throat. He was smiling at Mom while preparing to step onto the stage. The room was filled with people, and I grabbed a cup of coffee and sat near the back. Good afternoon, everyone. It brings me so much joy to see all of your faces on a day like this. First, let me update everyone on last week's news. The Career Festival was a success. All of our new residents have joined a career and should be fitting in nicely. Resource production is steady as usual, and other than some stormy weather on the horizon, everything appears peaceful on the surface. He began to drone on and on, talking about all kinds of things I knew nothing about. Announcements and upcoming events I could just read about on the bulletin board. I rubbed the bridge of my nose and sipped my coffee. Hopefully this meeting would be over soon. Eventually, he got off the stage and went straight to my mother. I perked up and watched him pat his scarf and say something to her with a smile. Who is that? I don't know. Do you think our eligible mayor has finally decided to settle down? They giggled like girls several years younger than them. It looks like she is just his secretary or whatever. In all the years we've lived here, you ever heard of even the smallest rumor about him and a special someone? I stood up and left. I couldn't stomach to hear anymore. Mom could meet me at the home later. For now, I needed to go home. I just needed to get out of that crazy cluster of people. I walked back and strongly considered just laying in bed, but then I ended up waiting for her to come home. I had some time to do something before the day was over. Alright. Trevor and Brian show. Or studying fitness, or studying the bottom of a glass. Five. I really want to go to the library though. Nothing particularly interesting was going on in Icarus today. There were a few things I could do. Hang out with Sam, let's hang out with Sam, see what she's on about. Sam looked unusually busy today. I walked in and close enough for her to nod at me and then start to complain. I am so damn behind. The mayor needs to give me an assistant or something. Fuck. Yeah, running this place alone must be hard. Yeah, but I'm just bitching. Ain't nothing compared to what I was running on the surface. At least here I don't have to serve the occasional Sandman or Warlord. I shuddered. That must have been awful. I can help you clean up if you like. Sam glanced at me, eyebrow raised. Then she pointed towards a sink of dirty dishes. I'm not about to stop you. Help yourself. I ran the water and started to wash the dishes. It was mostly glasses and pitchers, so it was easy. There was just a lot of it. As time crawled on, patrons had begun to leave. It grew quieter and quieter, and then it was only me and Sam. Icarus gets pretty busy at night. It's crazier on the weekends. Makes sense. Crowds are nowhere near as bad as my old place. It didn't even have a name, just the bar. Really? I was set up in a small outpost town between the cities, at least until the Sandman came and trashed the place. A warlord? Yeah, they fucked everything. She gritted her teeth and began to wipe down the counter furiously. People were killed. She slammed her fist on the table and then buried her face in her hands. Thanks for the chat. You can go now. Her voice was a whisper. Sam, just go. I backed away and left. She looked ready to throw stuff at me. I must have brought up some bad memories. It was getting late and I was tired. Time for bed. Thank you for joining me for episode 4 of As We Know It by Jaime Scribbles Games. The next episode will be out shortly. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment letting me know what you like down below. Please no hate or spoilers, as I'm not above removing those comments and the people who make them. That's all for now, folks, and I'll see you next time.